Man, I'm dead.
If you watched Game of Thrones before, then you'd know the standards of that show were set so incredibly high. But unlike Game of Thrones, the final season of Attack on Titan is so far superb. The fact that a show such as Attack on Titan has been around for over 9 years and made a massive impact on the anime world is difficult to grasp. With that being said, Attack on Titan has just returned for one final season. But this is not entirely accurate, as it will take a brief pause before the finale of Season 4 Part 3. Essentially, Season 4 Part 3 consists of only 2 episodes, with the first episode already being released and the final episode scheduled for arrival in fall. So yeah, we're going to be waiting a while for the true final episode. Instead of creating multiple episodes, the creators decided to produce 2 extended specials to bring the series to a close. And yes, I am aware for some strange reason Crunchyroll decided to name the season Attack on Titan Final Season, the Final Chapters Special 1. Anyway, the latest 1-hour episode was remarkable, crushing and heartbreaking all combined into one. The episode, which lasted about an hour, followed the manga chapters quite closely but also added extra layers to certain parts, which were received with great appreciation. All in all, this was a masterpiece work that made the long hiatus in Season 4 Part 2 well worth the wait. Oh, and just to clarify, this video will focus just on the anime episode. There's going to be no manga spoilers. But what I will say is that chapters 131 to 134 of the manga were adapted by the anime, with only a few scenes excluded. We don't exactly know if these scenes are going to be reserved for the concluding movie or not, but it remains uncertain, which is why I won't be discussing them in this video. Regarding the storyline, Attack on Titan Final Season Part 3 resumes exactly where we left off. Eren had successfully initiated the rumbling, and now countless colossal titans are en route to Mali, prepared to annihilate everything in their path. The chapter began with an intense level of violence, featuring the crushing and vaporization of not only adults but also innocent children by Eren and the Wall Titans. The episode showcases the situation's horrific nature firsthand, making it even more terrifying than the manga. We witness people desperately screaming for their lives, resorting to suicide or even being trampled in chaos, which is all depicted in graphic detail. The animation's level of detail added to the already high tension, making it incredibly difficult to watch sometimes. The events portrayed, particularly the loss of innocent lives, elicited an emotional response and served as a sobering reminder of the horrors of war. During this opening scene, we can also see through the eyes of 2 young children, and just how horrifying the Titan's power is for them. As a wise man once said, actually wait, he's not a wise man, I take that back. But anyway, he said, "The death of one man is a tragedy. The death of a million is a statistic." This is actually a good quote, but because Joseph Stalin said it, let's just move on. So we see at the start of the episode that it focuses on Ramsey, who's just a young child trying to survive. The episode is trying to depict the rumbling's devastation from an innocent person's perspective, with this being Ramsey. Even at one point, Eren was compelled to save Ramsey when he first visited Mali, but after thinking long and hard about it, he realized there's genuinely no point saving him because of what he was about to do in the future. We then see an unfortunate scene with Ramsey's tragic death as he's crushed by the rumbling, and we can also just about spot Ymir watching on in the background. Just that little episode introduction just shows how incredible and deep this episode is going to be. We're literally only a few minutes into the hour-long episode and it's already got heartbreak and devastation, and what truly made it even more was that it was all seen through the eyes of one innocent young child. So obviously Attack on Titan isn't exactly known for its romance side of things. We don't often see relationships in Attack on Titan, but for some reason this episode decided to incorporate it amidst all the brutality that's occurred so far in the episode. There's a moment in the episode where Armin and Annie are having a conversation, and this time it's actually in the flesh rather than Armin talking to her crystallized form. Anyway, Annie thanks Armin for everything that he did whilst being stuck in that shell. For some strange reason, Armin doesn't actually confess anything to her in this episode. Who knows, maybe the love that Annie had for Berthold is still affecting Armin in a way. Personally, I can't see the both of them having a relationship that would work, simply because of the choices that they both made since the beginning of Attack on Titan, after the lives she has destroyed, with one major one being the whole of the Levi squad. But what's unusual is that it seems everyone's already forgiven Annie for the massacre of the Levi squad. What's strange is we know that Levi has so much hatred towards Zeke, but doesn't actually have any hatred towards Annie, even though she killed his entire squad, including Petra, who Levi completely admired. For me, it's probably the only flaw in the whole episode. I just don't understand how people have just completely ignored all of Annie's atrocities and moved on. But hey, I'm not gonna let that define the episode at all. It's still a complete work of art. Okay, now this is where the episode takes even more of a turn and becomes a complete emotional mess for everyone, including me. So we all know Hange, right? She's been the most lively character since the very beginning, and often at times when Attack on Titan felt slow and it dragged, there were some episodes where she'd just appear and carry the scenes on her own. However, with this episode it went a completely different direction. She became the hero to everyone and was ready to make the ultimate sacrifice for her comrades. It started with the scouts fixing up the airship to head to Fort Salta, where the air defense is at before the rumbling can actually get there. But out of nowhere, Flock appears and decides he wants to become a complete fucking idiot. From Flock's perspective, he doesn't want the rumbling to stop. So what does he do? He decides to shoot the airship, costing them so much time. I mean, hey, at least the Team Eren fans were happy at that. However, Mikasa shoots his ass and he just dies, so yeah. But I'm not gonna lie, I thought Flock was dead before this episode, so the way he just came out of nowhere kind of caught me off guard. Anyway, getting back to Hange and her sacrifice. The final interaction between Hange and Levi made the moment even more devastating, as Levi expresses grief by uttering the words "give your heart" and lost yet another dear friend to him. I mean, goddamn, how many times is Levi gonna lose someone close to him? On the other hand though, Armin was made the next commander of the scouts by Hange right before she went out like a hero. After her death, she wakes up in the afterlife, where she sees Erwin, Hans, and so many other characters that we know from previous seasons and episodes that unfortunately didn't make it. So we see our scouts strategizing in the flying boat, airplane, because it is an airplane after all, and they suddenly get teleported to the astral plane known as the Pats. Here we can see a young Eren that's standing next to Ymir, where both their eyes seem to be shrouded. This whole sequence does contain some nice looking shots though. The scene served a very crucial purpose, and that was just to let us all know that Eren's made up his mind and is not going to stop the rumbling no matter what. It also showed that the only way to stop Eren is to actually just kill him. Now we're approaching the ending part of the episode. It takes us to Fort Salta. This is where we witness the sorrow and regret of the warriors' parents, especially Reiner's mother and Annie's father, over their past actions. The commander of Fort Salta also acknowledges the Marlians' responsibility in causing their own downfall by fueling their own hatred. However, their plan to save humanity with an air bombardment is stopped when the Beast Titan, hanging from one of Eren's ribs, destroys the planes and later targets our crew's airship. Is this Zeke inside the Beast Titan? Is he being controlled by Eren? The episode ends with Anya and Capon bravely crash landing after helping the crew drop from the plane right over Eren's founding Titan form, so they can begin their fight. We get to see an injured and nerfed Levi getting back into action, Reiner transforming into the armored Titan midair to leap on the Beast Titan, and even Armin delivering a really cool line. The ending was a massive cliffhanger though, because now we gotta wait months for the next part. But apart from that, what an episode, right? I mean, 1 whole hour of entertainment. It was full of every emotion you can think of. We had heartbreaking moments, goosebump moments, and even intense moments. The episode was not just what we all expected it to be, but it was so much more. It delivered insanely devastating and terrific moments, but also at the same time it kept us all on the edge of our seats. That 1 hour felt like 10 minutes to me. Personally, I felt like that episode was probably one of, if not the best episode we've seen so far.